want to look for literature for your study, your research work, so whether it's background of the study or it's for the main literature and its components, whether conceptual review, theoretical review or theoretical framework, methodological review or review of empirical studies. Um, a very good place to start is Google Scholar. So this is a very wonderful place to start. Another good place is Elicit AI. Um, then we also have my Beep. We have a class on my Beep. So Google Scholar, Elicit AI, and my Beep are very good tools to use. So Google Scholar, despite PaperPal, Paper Rabbit, everybody they all still extract their works from Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is always updated with very recent information and studies that Google as a search engine curates. So the key thing is the first one is to use Google Scholar, and putting your keywords are very important. The more specific you are, the more and better that um, it will give you a very good result. So let's put strategic communication and peace building in Plateau State. Then if we just leave it at and peace building, it will just give us a lot of things, global research and the rest and all. But when we are very specific, then the kind of research that we need will come out. So the more specific you are in what you're looking for, the better the results that will come out. Now, based on what we have asked, we have seen data and results from plateau states and maybe sometimes North Central and the rest and all. So the good thing is that Google Scholar will always give you recent, or there's a where you can choose the most recent from 2026 to 2022. Let's restrict the search. Then you will see that it gives us the only the most recent research which we are supposed to use for anything we need to do. We can't go back as far back as anything less than 10 years. It's not good. Anything within 5 years is very good. So let's open some of the research papers. So okay, so we see this paper, um, peace building in Plateau State, Bassa local government. Um, so what we need to do now is you read the abstract. Abstract is very important. You might not be able to read the whole paper. You read the abstract, you go to the conclusion. The conclusion, that's where you get the summary of the paper again, then the limitations of the paper, because you are building on limitations. Your work is to build on the limitations of other papers. Then for more insight, you go to the discussion of findings. Please, we should not rely on AI. So you check the abstract, you check the discussion of findings, you check the conclusion, recommendations, and the limitations. So let's go back to my bib. Then there's a video on my bib. So let's open it. Well, and let's be careful to choose upper 6th edition. When you open my bib, it's always by default MLA. So you choose to upper 6th, or if you're using upper 7th, then you can see the link has been pasted. My bib populates it, but there's still some manual input we need to do. There are some links that have digital object of identifier that will populate automatically. Some have not been so configured. They have partial automation, so you have to do some of them manually. So we are looking for the year. So we have found the year of publication. It might not be on the journal, but make sure the names is set. Then, of course, we don't want uppercase. What we want is sentence case, but a specific type. So let's go to, so only the first sentence should be capital. So let's copy it. Then every other one it's lowercase except for proper nouns like names of places. So we are changing Basa to uppercase. If there's Nigeria, we'll change it also, and the rest. So make sure everything is set in that panel. Then we have to find the volume number. If it's not on the document itself or the journal, you maybe check back on the Google Scholar, or you check at that URL. So we found the page number also, and we found the year of publication. So please note that this is not a report, this is a journal. So reports are different, conference papers are different, chapters are different, and the rest. So what article are you looking at? Then my beep has all the functions, all the formats that you need. So let's the name of journal is always title case. So the first word is always capital. So please let's fix that. The first word is capital. All these brackets can be removed. Um, so we are copying that, then we are returning it back to my bib. So everything is almost set. Um, we're just checking for the page numbers, also checking for volume number. So if you don't find the volume number on the body, so we saw that in the URL we got the volume number annotated. It's not compulsory, but if you just want to write something that later on you come and pick and paste in your body of work, either your background of the study or your statement of the problem. So this will not appear in your main references, but you can always come back to my bib. When you click on them, you open it, edit, then you now extract what you have written about that paper. And also this there should be another video on how to use this. When you get the references, you pick it, then you put it under the reference. Then there's a way to align all these things, so maybe it will come in a subsequent video. So the idea is that what is the focus of this paper, the objectives, then you need to put the limitation, because you're doing a critical review. You are not just being descriptive. What did they find out? But what did they leave out that your own study is contributing? This is very, very key. So you have done the annotated bibliography, and this is what a reference will look like. Watch our full video on using my. Let's just go back to elicit, which is so signing up on elicit is free using your Google account or GitHub. You might see at first time signing, you might see that they will tell you to, they want to tell you to sign up. They want to tell you to sign up and pay, but you just log in and there's a place where you will just skip. There's a place where you will just skip. So so when your elicit opens, then you can just paste in the query. The more specific you are, the better. We are looking at the most recent papers because, like I said, we are building on the most recent cross-sectional studies. Your own is also building on their limitations to further the scope and advance of knowledge in that area. So you will see a summary section, you will see a kind of a detailed section, but please leave those out. Those are AI generated. There are a lot of hallucinations. They just try to compact the information to look good to you, but if you go through it paper by paper, you will be surprised that some of them are false negatives or false positives. They are just hallucinations. So the summary might be accurate. The idea is that they generate the document for you based on the years. So instead of going to Google, normal Google, not Google Scholar, manually checking, this one just arranges it based on years. And the good thing is that about this elicit is that when you put keywords, it strengthens the search. So you have a column, you put the first column, you can put another column, you can put at least 5 columns with this limited edition. So these keywords um, strengthens the work. So instead of opening the whole paper, you can now say, but like I said, some of them are true, some of them are hallucinations. So you just need at the end, after checking, and the one that seems close to your objective, you now open the full paper. You click on the DOI number, then you now open the full paper, then you actually get what you want out of the study. So you read the summary, you read the keywords, do they align? Then those that don't align, you skip. Like some will say this has not been mentioned in the paper, so you skip them. Then you go to studies that seem to align with all your work. But like I said, you need to cross check. You need to cross check. So when you click on the drawing, um, the full paper opens, and just like I said, you check the abstract, you check the discussion of findings, you check the conclusions, um, and the rest. Okay, so this paper has come up. It's a full paper from Tandem, and so you pick the drawing number, then you go back to my bib, then you paste it, you refresh. Now, then when you click, you might have to fill up some empty spaces, like I said, do some manual input. So you go back to the paper, look for the volume, look for the issue, look for the page number. So we see a place like cite this article. So let's click on it. And every paper, every journal has its own format. So you have to have an eye to know where the citation is. So we have APA, we have Chicago, then we have Harvard. So we're using APA 6th edition, 7th edition, but they're almost similar. So we have the issue number, we have the volume number, we have the page number. So we go back to my bib, we put the volume number 72, we put the issue number, then um, you can see the page number is wrong. So we got the original page number. So um, so we're correcting that now. Then when you check other parameters are okay, we're confirming the number that the site has given since it's an online copy. So we check all parameters. Then the good thing, it gives you suggestions, making sure that everything is aligned, lower cases except for the first word. So you fix everything except for your nouns and all. So you come down, and if you want your you save. Okay, let's put annotated book bibliography. So let's, for the sake of this, something light and easy. We look at what the paper is all about. You read the abstract, you read the conclusion, the limitations, discussion of findings. These are the key areas. So you write your annotated bibliography. So it helps you to paraphrase, write the idea, but stay true to the original idea. Stay true to the original idea. Don't break it. You can bend, but don't break it. But you stay true. So, like I said about annotated bibliography, when your references come out, and you can come back to this section and lift out your annotated bibliography and paste it, either the background of the study, either the statement of the problem. If you're doing a literature review, narrative literature review, critical literature review, methodological, empirical studies. So you just come back here and lift what you have written. Um, so you can still write it back in the main work, but some people find the references, write this annotated bibliography up to 50 to 100 words, and they come back and arrange them. So that one, like I said, will need another video for how to use my bib annotated bibliography to build your literature and to put transition words and make them meaningful and to sync them. So you can see, okay, this has still not loaded. But for now, we have looked at elicit, we have seen the features, how it can be very helpful. We have looked at Google Scholar. Then we have also seen how my bib can help us in the references. So this picture is about getting literature. Good day. When you want to look for literature for your study, your research work, so whether it's background of the study